So welcome to Life After 60. This episode is a very exciting one. We're glad to see Representative Dawn White will be here presenting a proclamation to our state third place champs, the Mindbenders, and along with us talking with Ellen Ervin and her important programs about the Senior Learning Network. So come join us for all the activities we have at St. Clair Street Senior Center.
Hi there, I'm Dawn White and I'm State Representative for District 37, and I'm here today with the Mindbenders team, and the state of Tennessee wanted to congratulate these wonderful ladies here on their excellent accomplishment, and so we have got proclamations for each one of the team of the Mindbenders, and I know later on in your broadcast they're going to explain to you what the Mindbenders are, and we are very proud of these folks from the Senior Citizen Center and just want to congratulate them for their hard work, and they've traveled the state making Murfreesboro very proud, and thank y'all so much for all your efforts and time that you've put into the Mindbenders.
So welcome to our episode of Life After 60 here at St. Clair Street Senior Center. We've got a lot to talk about today. I've got guests with me today. The Mindbenders from St. Clair Street Senior Center are here. They've had a wonderful run this year in the competition the state's been holding for healthy brain activities. It's called a trivia game that came up from the Tennessee Commission on Aging. And we had a team that has competed the last couple of years, but this year we made it all the way to the state competition, winning in a regional, again in the district, and then heading to Morristown, Tennessee for the state competition. So I want to ask my guests here that are joining us. This is the Mindbenders team. Hi, team.
Hi.
So a lot of fun that we had this year in the competition. We went all the way to the state. I would say you went all the way to the state. I was there. I was cheering. I was your cheerleader. But I want the folks out there in Murfreesboro to know a little bit about our team. I'll start back here on the back with Lorraine. Name and maybe background history a little bit, just a little bit.
My name is Lorraine Hall. I am a transplant from New Hampshire, living in Murfreesboro for about 7 years. I am a retired pharmacist, working maybe half of the time as a hospital pharmacist.
Okay, great.
My name is Chris Deline. I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan. I spent 20 years in St. Croix in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and I came up here because this is where my family is now.
I'm Carolyn Farrar. I'm a recently retired RN. I've lived most of my life in Murfreesboro and definitely in Tennessee, and I've just joined St. Clair a couple of months ago, and it's just been great for me.
My name is Marilyn Nolan, and I am a retired Rutherford County teacher. Spent 23 years at Central Middle School and 7 years at Siegel Middle School, and really enjoyed teaching the children of Rutherford County.
I'm Carol Ann Beasley. I'm a retired Rutherford County teacher. I taught 33 years at Central Middle School, 4 years at Critchlow Middle School, and 2 years at Mitchell Nielsen Elementary when it had a 7th and 8th grade, and 1 year at Hickman County Junior High. And I've lived in Murfreesboro almost all my life, since I was a college freshman.
So a well-rounded team. We have one team player that's not here today. Lynn, do you want to tell us who she was and a little bit about her?
Yes, at the second competition, our alternate, Margaret Moore, was on our team. Margaret's also a retired Rutherford County teacher. She taught English and ended her career as a school librarian.
So that made our team for the Mindbenders. And so one of the things about the competition for you to know is that we send up 3 players. 3 players, we don't ever know what the categories are going to be. Those 3 players then have an alternate that goes with or travels with the competition. So we had some folks kind of transferring in and out as our alternate. But then once we get to competition, the game is on. We competed in the district game against 6 other teams and won. And then we went on to our district teams for the regionals, and we had 3 other teams. That was from South Central and from the Upper Cumberland. So we actually won that competition. So let's talk a little bit about competition. So I know Chris and Lynn were on the teams that competed at the first district game against our folks in Greater Nashville. How was that, and where did we go?
Well, on that particular one, we played 3 teams, played against each other and got a winner. Then the second group of 3 played and got a winner, and that winner was Mount Juliet. And then we played Mount Juliet and beat them. And so that let us advance to the next competition.
So, Chris, can you tell us where our first competition was held?
I can. It was in Ashland City.
So we competed against several teams there. We then made our trip on to Nashville, and we were at the Nashville precinct. So we were really safe competing downtown Nashville against the winners out of the South Central area and Upper Cumberland. So, Carolyn, can you remember any of the questions that maybe stood out in this competition?
Well, the one that I'll never forget was the state drink of Tennessee, because 2 out of the 3 teams listed Jack Daniels, and the one team got milk, which it was milk since 2009. So I'll never forget that.
Was that the one of the one questions we missed at that competition?
We only missed, I think, 2 questions.
I think everybody there was in Jack Daniels. You know, why couldn't it have been that answer? So milk was the correct answer.
Fentress County got that right.
They were the only
Fentress
ones.
County Fossils got that one correct.
And we did like the names of some of the
Yes.
group. The Fentress County Fossils, some old timers. I think Jonesboro's old timers was one of the group.
One was Age to Perfection.
Age to Perfection. This group, the Mindbender's name was probably a staff member, maybe a little help from the team. But if you had to pick a name, I know y'all have thrown some funny names out there. What was that?
I wanted the team to be named the Foggy Fogies. And they didn't like that idea too well, but then when we saw Age to Perfection and some others, I think it's a pretty good name.
It was. So, ladies, one of the things that I want to know a little bit more about is maybe how the team works when you compete, the competition-wise. How does that work when you're on the table?
Can I tell you one more story about the
Okay,
question?
yes, sure.
I thought the funniest question was the quotation about to know a man, you have to get under his skin. And that was Atticus Finch from To Kill a Mockingbird. But one of the teams answered Hannibal Lecter, and the whole audience erupted in laughs. I thought that was a memorable
It was
moment.
a wrong answer, but it was the best
It was
wrong
the best
answer for the session.
Yes,
Yeah, but you're
it was
right.
the best answer.
I think they got a better laugh out of any of the events and everything, and that was out of our district game, I believe it was, the regional game.
It was the second game.
Yeah, the regional game. So, but yeah, that was some fun answers.
Mm-hmm.
But so the competition competes. You know, the teams compete. So how do you know the categories ahead of time?
No, have no idea.
What were some of the categories this time? Do you remember any of the categories?
The last time though, they didn't state what the categories
didn't
were.
tell us.
They had in both the first 2 games. They once you got there and you got on the stage, they would give us a piece of paper that had all the categories on it, so we would kind of know what was coming. But the last one, nobody knew.
No hints.
Nobody knew.
No hints.
Nobody did.
You had asked a minute ago, though, about the beginnings. We started last year, and Lorraine and I and another member, John, competed in the first competition. And then after that, we started practicing every Thursday. And these other folks were gracious enough to come along and join us for the ride. So we've been practicing, and out of all the questions, thousands that we've gone over, I think one, a question about hot peppers was the only thing that we had actually come across. But we've had a good time getting together and getting to know each other. So it's been fun.
That was the Scoville scale.
Yeah.
What does the Scoville scale measure? And it's the heat of chili peppers.
And see,
Lorraine knew.
and Lorraine, that was Lorraine's
Yes,
answer. She
Lorraine
was over
knew
there
it.
cheering for the.
Yeah.
You could always tell when her team got an answer right. I can remember
Rhubarb.
Chris rhubarb question. It was kind of like rhubarb is the answer. So
She rose up out of the chair about 6 inches. We had to pull her back down.
So it really is fun for the teams when they know they got it right. When I'm watching, I could see you all kind of get your heads put together, going, do you talk each other out of answers? Hopefully, I told you earlier, go with your gut, go with the first answer that comes out of your mind and everything. But you have talked yourself out of some good answers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in this last competition, one of the questions
Was about the Bill of Rights.
Bill of
was
Rights.
one, and we were torn between Thomas Jefferson and James Madison, and we went with Jefferson, and it was Madison. So we had the answer, but just out of the two, chose the
Another
wrong
one was whose address is 1313 Mockingbird Lane or something like that.
Yeah.
And Lynn knew it. She knew it was either the Addams family or the Munsters,
Munsters.
and we just chose the wrong one. We should have chose the Munsters.
we talked about earlier with our representative what was the toughest questions, and I thought it was a very tough question. Who was the very first Miss America? And to this day, when we got the answer, we were still like, okay. And
My
she
first
was?
thought was my parents were not even born in 1921. How old do they think we are?
So who was the first?
Gorman.
Gorman.
Yes, we won't forget that one. I thought one of the hardest questions, though, was the colorblind astronomer who saw the lines on Mars and called them canals. And that was Schiaparelli. And just the other day, the European Space Agency had a probe going to Mars called the Schiaparelli, and it crashed into Mars and exploded. It's too bad it didn't happen a month ago. Then we would have known the answer to that question.
We would have had another win on that
We
one.
would have, and then we would have won.
So, the competition, so tell us a little bit about some of the other teams. At the regional games, they are in our district. So these are Trousdale and Nashville and Mount Juliet, and those are folks that are in our own district. We really didn't get to spend a lot of time with them, but now when we got to the state, we had a dinner. And does anybody remember going in what one of the guys said about our teams as he opened the door? I don't know who he said that to.
He said it to me.
Okay, what did he say?
They had been very friendly until we got there. But he said to me, well, tomorrow we're going to beat you like a drum.
And we did beat them.
And we beat them.
We did.
Yeah.
In fact, they were,
Quite a
Fourth
few points behind us.
Yeah.
Quite a few points
but
behind
I
us.
did not say anything to
No.
him. I thought I
No.
would be ladylike.
Well, that was a good championship mode there. I appreciate that very much on behalf of St. Clair. I do.
We didn't embarrass
But
you.
the teams were great. Does anything stand out to you about what Brain Games is all about for the state?
Well, I think the whole purpose of the day in Morristown was brain health, and that was why they had the walk and the competition.
That was one, the whole key point to this is for the state to encourage older seniors to keep their brain active. Trivia, reading, learning a new skill. It's really important to us as we age to keep that brain as active as possible. And trivia is one of those areas that you can't, that really does help. So anybody get to sit and talk with any of the other team members while we were in the state competition?
I think it was more just casual conversation. We didn't really discuss anything about particular questions or anything like that.
I did talk to one gentleman, although I don't think he was in the competition. He was one of the people who were helping put on the event, and he was with the library, and Lorraine and I are members of Friends of Linebaugh Library, and we're volunteers there. So I keep looking around, and I go, I can replace that book.
You're a little distracted, I
Right.
understand.
But so I walked down to the library there, and it was a very nice library, and we just talked and shared information about each of our friends' groups, so that was nice.
Yeah, that team that said they were going to beat us and everything, that was just too much trash talk. So you didn't want to get.
It's a little competition every once in a while, but I think that was the fun thing that we noticed, that all of the teams that were there, they were there to have fun. Yeah. Even with a little trash talk going into the door, we had a lot of fun in the competition.
And I just want to add just one more thing. We did really well in the first two competitions. However, unfortunately, we lost in the third one, but we lost fairly. It was not a rigged competition.
I don't know.
Oh, y'all are so good. It was not.
I think Donald said it was. I mean,
Well, ladies, I do appreciate it very much, you coming on. And for one thing, I'm very proud. As the director of St. Clair Street Senior Center, I'm proud of you as a team. You should be very proud of yourself for taking us all the way to the state. I hope the folks out there in Murfreesboro, if you want to join our team, now they're going to take a little bit of break off while we're doing our renovation, but once we come back, they are going to have their brain team back in action after the first of the year. We want to go back to the state next year in 2017 and compete again in the brain games for St. Clair Street Senior Center. This month we have an exciting guest that is tuning in with us via the internet and all the technology that is available to us by the Senior Learning Network. We will be talking with the creator of the program today, just going over kind of the history of the Senior Learning Network, how that has come about, the love of technology and the love of our seniors that are maybe unable to get out, how they can keep in touch with senior centers and other programs across the state. It's an exciting time in technology for senior centers and for us here at St. Clair. We've been working with this program for quite a few months, and we want to bring that technology and information to you, our viewers here in Rutherford County. So our guest today is Ellen. Ellen is with the Senior Learning Network. So hi, Ellen.
Hi, Connie.
So tell us who you are.
Okay. Well, my name is Ellen Ervin, and along with my business partner, Lynn Beechner, now about 5 years ago, we formed the Senior Learning Network. And the concept was kind of based on high school field trips, virtual field trips, because we're both educators, which helps in what we're doing. And we knew that we could bring the same concept of a virtual field trip, if you like, or learning virtually to seniors in retirement community senior centers like yourselves, and even now individuals at home. So we're very excited about what we're doing.
So Ellen, I've known you for quite a while through the internet. I don't think we've got to meet face to face through this entire project, but this has been a passion of yours for a long time.
Exactly. And I tell you, Connie, even though we've never met, as with a lot of people that I now know through the organization, you form, because that's one of the key points of what we're doing, is this helps people form relationships, albeit virtual. But if I met you at the airport flying into Kansas City, I could pick you out of a crowd and, know your background, who you are, and those sort of things. And that's one of the beauties of what we're doing, is it helps socially as well as learning. So you're interacting and learning all at the same time, and helping all those things about overcoming social isolation and those type of things.
So that was going to be my next question, is exactly where are you located in comparison to Rutherford County?
I am in Kansas City, Missouri, and I'm born and raised here in the town. And my partner Lynn is also from this area. And like I said, we're both educators, and we were working in a common school inner city school here when we met, and we formed this organization. And as they say, the rest is history. We love it because we're both in our 60s. That says, hey, just because you reach a certain point, learning doesn't stop. And so we're thrilled that we can provide interactive learning to older adults across the country now.
So maybe, Lynn, describe a little bit of the technology that we're using today to be able to show this to our viewers.
Absolutely. When we started, we used, as you know, another type of system. And in the last several years, we've gone to a product called Zoom. And Zoom has been very, very helpful for us because really it overcomes all the problems of video conferencing back in the day. All you need to do is click on a web address and you're in. And it's really forgiving on a lot of those things that make IT people crazy, like firewalls and things like that. It's easy to use, and it's easy to use at home. I use it on my cell phone. It's that easy. So that's why we have gone to this technology. And the beauty of it is now that we could have multiple people in this video conference. And we have had video conferences with multiple organizations and individuals in as well. And we have people from across the country that are able to see the same presentation at the same time. And one of the fun things about it is that when we see people start to interacting and talking to each other with some downtime, well, I'm from Kansas City, where you are. What's going on there? How's Murfreesboro in this case? Or maybe how is California? What's the weather like? And so you have real good interactions going between the members on the call.
I think that's been one of the fantastic things about the program is that our seniors a little unnerving about the technology, and then they see a senior on the other end and they get to start having those conversations. And you're absolutely correct. They ask them about the weather, especially if there's something kind of going on. Of course, there's a lot of weather right now going on all over the East Coast. So when I talk to some folks that are out on the East Coast, we might ask them about some of the storms that have been coming through. And so it's really good, kind of right on the point that folks can kind of inquire about maybe something that they're going through that we're not. So let's talk about some of the destinations that your program, the Senior Learning Network, can actually transport seniors to.
Well, we have multiple. We have probably 500 to 600 things to choose from. But some of the favorites is the FDR Library in Hyde Park, New York. He's great. Jeff Ervin is the presenter. We have the American Smithsonian on art. And now we have picked up some things in Hawaii with virtual photo walks, which is another part of our 501c3 now. You can take a cell camera, phone camera, and go out and have interactions while people are walking around in their environment. And one of our presenters is now at Hearst Castle in California. And she's able to take her cell phone, go out into the gardens, show the gardens, talk about even, she puts it up really close to the camera and said, take a deep breath. Can you smell the roses? And she says, if you remember what your grandmother's perfume was like, a rose perfume, that's what these are because they're not hybrid. They're original to the place. And then she goes into the guest houses and shows all the artwork. So we're able to do it live, walking around, and then we're able to go in, like in Hearst Castle, into the guest cottages and see kind of the way the other half lived. In another case, we had a volcano erupting in Hawaii live one morning at sunrise Hawaii time. And that afternoon, we were walking around the cathedral that's been under construction in Barcelona, Spain for 130 years. So there's this technology kind of opens up the world.
Now, Ellen, we got a few more minutes here, but I want you to tell a little bit about your father and kind of your love, kind of starting with this program and making sure he was informed of these programs.
Yeah. As I said, I'm a teacher by training, a history teacher back in the day. And as my personal father was aging, here in Kansas City, we have a wonderful, wonderful museum rated in the top 25, which is the National World War I Museum. And Dad loved history, which is probably where I got my love of history as well. And Dad at this point was using a walker, but we knew he would love the museum as it was starting to open up and bring in all the World War I artifacts. And we took him there, and he did like it. But Dad didn't have the stamina to stick it out, to go through the whole museum. And at that time, I had been doing video conferencing before when it was cumbersome and terrible. And Lynn and I started looking at it, and we said, why can't we do the virtual field trips that go to schools, but put an older adult spin on it? And that's what launched us. And we're thrilled with it. It's been an exciting time, and it fulfills for us our passion of continuing to learn, no matter what your age happens to be. And now the technology is getting so easy to use that it really provides an opportunity to reach out, to learn, to share, to talk. And the beauty of it is, even as you know, Connie, the science of it is that it's now proven it helps overcome social isolation and depression and all those things that can occur to all of us as we age, because you're still involved and you can still see things, go places that you've never been or haven't been for a long time, and engage with other people. It's wonderful. We think it's the most important work we've ever done, and we've done a lot of things in our lives, myself and Lynn, and we think this is important work.
Well, let's take the last few minutes and just talk about how someone out there might find out about your program or find you out there in the internet world.
Well, we're in the internet world, seniorlearningnetwork.com, and our new 501c3 is called Generations Learning, and that's genlearn.org. And that part focuses on this technology going out to individuals within their homes, because so many people are actually trying to age in place as well, or they're just adults that get tired of watching TV and want to learn something. So that is now in pilot, and we're looking at expanding that work as well. So we wanted to make sure that we could have the programming. We are self-funded, so that means we don't have the mega budget for advertising, but we're on social media. There's a Facebook page for Senior Learning Network. We're on Twitter at Senior Learn. We try to, get the word out as much as possible. We just, through the work of John Butterell with Virtual Photo Walks, who's now under our umbrella, we were able to get a grant from the Christopher Reeve Foundation. So that's very exciting for us. And so now we're going to start trying to get more sponsorships and awareness of what we're doing, and try to get more of our programming out there. Because as you well know, Connie, some of our programming does cost, and not all centers can afford that. And so we would like to have money that we can help offset that cost, because there's a lot of excellent programs that are out there that we want to get more of those type of things out to our membership as well.
Well, Ellen, I do appreciate you joining in via the internet and the technology today for our program. I think this is one of the best programs out there. If you want more information about the Senior Learning Network and the programs that are presented at St. Clair, you can call us at 615-848-2550 or look on the murfreesboro.tn.gov under Senior Centers at our Leaf. It's our monthly newsletter that goes out. It has all the programs that we are scheduled for the upcoming months, especially our Senior Learning Network programs, because those, we give details about the programs, and you can just actually come in. There's no charge for those. For seniors 60 plus, they're great educational events and great topics for our seniors in our community. I want to thank you again, Ellen.
Thanks, Connie, for asking me. I'm so pleased.
And we will be connected together on another day.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Bye. So hopefully you'll join us to find out more about the Senior Learning Network and for all the other activities on Life After 60.